explaining that. Um, we're looking to find out, did Joe suffer any brain damage from the swing accident? And is this why and she feels like she's making up all of this nonsense from her sessions. Is this correct? I mean,
Going through this moment where she's like, what the fuck? Am I delusional? First of all, I say I've got an essence of a man inside me. Then I've got now what, an archangel? Oh my god, I'm so fucking delusional. Who on earth is ever gonna fucking believe this? And she just keeps thinking it's the most absurdest thing. And she's flipping in. She listens to so many sessions every day with her amazing clients and loves every experience with them. But yet, when it comes to her own sessions, she's like, I'm batshit crazy. Like, I can't believe that came from my mouth. And she knows this work and she understands this work. And she still, when it comes to her, even though we use words that she has to like check out in the dictionary to see if it even like makes sense and if it even is applicable for the conversation, like she constantly gets confirmation that this is real. But it's just like it's so close now to everything unfolding. She is not wanting to put her hopes up on the bigger events that are happening. She has totally put them all to the side, which is good because she's just focusing now on daily life with her clients and her sessions. But when she's in her non-session mode, is those moments where she's like, is it even real? This feels too surreal. And then she's thinking, why did we tell her now about the subconscious and the Arcturian? And she knows it's not a big deal. She knows that there's multiple archangels. She's contacted so many archangels in these sessions. They are just another person. And we've tried to say to her, and she believes this, that no one is more important than another person and that you're all very special. You're all very important. And she knows this, but she's afraid of the dickheads. So they're going to be like, oh my God, did you hear that woman? She thinks she's all that. And she is paranoid that people are going to be like, oh, she's totally delusional. She had the accident. She's obviously got brain damage and she's making up all this shit. And those are the people that aren't able to hear us and trust us and understand us. And so she's just feeling vulnerable because there's a lot of personal information in there, which we wanted her to share because people keep wanting to know why they resonated with her so much. And when they realize that she has had many lifetimes with them already and that they know each other and it's very familiar, and that our messages are very familiar to them because they're ignoring us all the time. We are a part of them in their everyday lives, but they ignore them. Even they ignore their own selves. So what we're trying to say is, while Joe's trying to shake off the information we have given her in her own sessions, it is the same with people who are ordinarily doing their daily lives, and we're giving them messages too, and they're shaking them off. And so everyone's shaking off our messages when it applies to them. But when you hear it through someone else, you're like, oh, I fully resonate with that. That's totally legit. But yet, when it comes to your own personal information, this is why so many people are like, oh man, I'd love to be a lifesaver, but that just sounds like ego. That would make so much sense if I was a lightsaber, because I feel like my whole life has been in this direction, but I can't be good enough for it. And so a lot of people are self-doubting what we keep telling them. And Joe has no excuse really to doubt our information, considering she's under the session. She's in this trance and she knows she's in this trance. And yet she has to keep hearing from us the same information to clarify and not keep her worrying about, that this is just her mind making up this shit. She's such a disabled, ego-based person that when she feels like anything about her is from ego, it does concern her. It really does. Because she does not like seeing other people's egos come in and filter and limit and block this work. And so she has got such a negative ego that when we tell her the truth about her, she resists it because she's terrified that if it's true, then people will be like, look at her ego. Even though she knows that having part of an archangel is literally no big deal. It's literally a term. It has got nothing to do with anything special. She doesn't feel special. She knows that she's just here doing work to help humanity, and she believes everyone is also doing work to help humanity. So she just was worried that, you know, people are going to go, oh, well, she's definitely got brain damage from that swing. And she doesn't understand, she doesn't think that it was when she was 6. We told her that that accident happened when she's 6, and she's really disorientated with the time. And so she thinks it was more like when she was 3. And so she's been like, oh, I can't believe that because I was pretty sure it was 3. And it wasn't. You know, we've told her it was 3. She thinks it's 6. And so she's arguing with us about when it happened.
Rightio. So we can confirm there's no brain damage. She's totally fine. She just needs to.
Saying that absolutely positive it must be brain damage because she's just been arguing with herself, with her higher self. The whole conversation was her arguing with us. And so, yeah, I mean, that could be definitely signs of brain damage if you want to judge her like that. And we know that it's not brain damage, but she has to use her own intuition and figure out what's the truth.
Yeah, well, after a full conversation with Joe, you do wonder. Thank you very much for that clarification. That's fantastic. Just actually on that topic of archangels, was the Pleiadian Ashtar discussed in a previous session?
Yes, he came in and told everyone that he wants everyone to know that when the people who need to be activated first have been activated, and that yeah, not to be surprised if they have awoken or dreamed him and had experiences going through tunnels and stuff. They are activating all their Pleiadians who need to be activated. And so it was more like, hey guys, I'm here. Yeah, we've activated you who need to be activated. You're welcome. Don't freak out. You're not haunted.
Sweet. Okay, thank you very much. Well, I look forward to that activation. Thank you very much. Um, okay.
They said.
Say that again.
I'll think about it, they said.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. How did Joe feel about listening back to her last session with me as the practitioner?
Are you asking to get praise for your practitioner skills, or are you wanting to have us answer what she wanted, which was she worried that it was her ego coming out and that she was making the whole thing up. That's what she had to listen to it to really get a sense of, oh my God, is this even, I don't know if I want to share this. She felt really uncomfortable with it. She had to listen to it twice to really understand if there was going to be any importance for people listening. And we've told her that people want to understand who the hell she is and what her experiences are, so then they can figure out why they relate to her and why they, you know, feel connected to her. Because they do, but she's like, no, it's not me, it's the work. And so she's got a lot of, yeah, it's not self-doubt, it is more the responsibility of right now she feels like she's got a lot of responsibility of getting the truth for people, and she's really worried still that you know, she's taking them down a garden path. And you know, she's seen so many other big people about absolute nonsense in their videos that she doesn't really like that because she thinks it's disempowering people and making them confused, and she wants the truth out there. So she's like, oh my gosh, what if I am one of these people that is also telling like ridiculous bullshit and disempowering people? This is her biggest problem and worry. What if she's not telling the truth? What if this information is complete bullshit?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. No, I wasn't looking for praise for my wonderful practitioner skills. I was just trying to clarify so that the question wasn't confusing. Um, so, um, okay, so subconscious, you said that Joe was not 3D anymore, yet she cried about her cat having the soul essence of her friend. Why is that?
It was grief. And she still needed to mourn the grief of losing Sam, but also realizing that she lost you guys without even knowing she had you. And so it was about just the realization that she was actually never alone during that time, and that wasn't just a random cat that she just loved profoundly. It was bigger than that. The connection with Sam was bigger than just a pet owner and a cat. It's much more significance than that. So when she realized that connection, it broke her a bit emotionally, because it was just um, healing the loneliness that she has felt for a long time. And while she desperately does miss Samuel, the cat, she has to grow and accept and move on. She doesn't believe that grief is a very healthy thing to have profoundly paralyze your life, and she is correct with that. So she needed to keep living, and she felt very grateful for the experience she did have with Sam. But this was about realizing that while she has felt alone a majority of her time when she has been stuck in her own thoughts, she actually wasn't as alone as she thought. I mean, she hasn't been really connecting with us for very long. And so she is reflecting back on her life when she was alone, emotionally alone and physically alone in the spiritual world, when she had severed her relationship with us. She was not meant to be awoken until the 2018, as everyone else did, when it was safe to really be awakened, because most people who were awakened profoundly beforehand were targeted. And so there was perfect divine timing for her, and she is still healing from that past. So it was a relief for her to realize she'd never actually been alone, as much as she had thought. So she isn't 3D in her mindset. She's healing from her 3D. So her mindset's bigger. She can see the bigger picture of things and not be triggered as much. But she does have some still personal healing, and that was, one of the last ones of that. She's got fine, small little remnants, and if she had to ascend tomorrow, she would be totally fine. Nothing is holding her back, because she has done so much profound healing. So she's still enjoying the processing of all of this and growing, because it's so much easier to release now than it has ever been. So it's all fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. Um, so it's almost like she's releasing the remnants of 3D, facing the
Yeah.
emotions of 3D, that type of thing.
Yes, well, when she had the belief system that she had been alone, then that just confirmed she was unlovable, and that she, wasn't good enough to be loved. When you're alone, and no one's loving you, including yourself, it is a very dark place. And so when she realized that she was loved enough so much that her friends chose to share their soul essences, to be cats, to be with her and nurture her, and give her unconditional love. For 19 years, Samuel gave her unconditional love. He never disappointed her. He never did anything to her apart from give her unconditional love. And that was so powerful and so grateful. And his lesson and purpose was to give and show her she was worthy of unconditional love. And, she didn't have it for herself. And it was the only being that was consistently loving her. And even though he loved her tremendously, she still didn't feel his love for her. She could only feel her love for him. And so when she realized that the contract that they had together was for her to see she was worthy of unconditional love and accept it. And that's the hardest thing. You are all really surrounded by unconditional love. You just refuse to accept it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much.